Listening test instructions. The listening test is about 50 minutes. There are 6 parts in listening test. You will have about 6 minutes to listen to each passage and answer the questions. The passage will be played once.
Hey, you look concerned. What's on your mind?
The final exam. I'm not fully prepared yet.
Well, don't worry too much. You still have 3 days.
Yeah, but 3 days will fly past in a wink.
Well, you still have time to cram things in your brain anyway.
Question 1. Why is the man looked worried?
You will hear a conversation in 3 sections. You will hear each section only once. After each section, you will hear 2 or 3 questions. You will hear the questions only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Excuse me, could you help me please? I think something is missing from my bag.
Of course, madam. Could you tell me exactly what's missing?
I had a small purse with cash, my ID card, and some personal things. I placed it in my shoulder bag before entering the gallery. Now it's gone.
I see. Did you open your bag while walking around?
No, I only used my phone to take pictures and read the display boards. My bag was closed the whole time.
I understand. Let's stay calm. Sometimes visitors hand in lost items to our staff. Which galleries did you visit before noticing?
First, the ancient sculpture hall, then the modern art wing. I discovered the purse missing at the jewelry exhibit.
That helps. I'll inform our security office right away. We also have CCTV cameras covering most sections.
Please do. I'm really anxious.
Don't worry. We'll trace your missing purse. It might already be at our lost and found.
What does the tourist's careful tracking of her bag imply about her habits? Why does the tourist mention each gallery she visited? The presence of CCTV is mentioned to suggest that
You will hear the second section of the conversation shortly.
Could you describe the purse for me?
Yes, it's a small, dark brown leather purse with a golden zipper. Inside were about $80, my national ID card, and 2 credit cards.
Thank you. When did you last check it was still inside your bag?
Just outside at the ticket counter. I showed my ID card and then put the purse back. After that, I never opened the bag.
Did you leave the bag unattended, maybe while taking photos?
Not at all. I had it on my shoulder the entire time. But the sculpture hall was crowded. Someone might have unzipped it without me noticing.
That's possible, but let's confirm. Security will review the CCTV from the halls you mentioned. I'll also alert our attendants to check the areas again.
I'm most worried about my ID card.
Understood. Please write your name and contact details here. If your purse turns up, we'll inform you immediately.
Yes, of course. Thank you for helping me.
What does the tourist's insistence on keeping the purse on the shoulder indicate? How does the guide's response reflect their approach to the situation? Which inference best describes the risk assessment in the guide's words?
You will hear the third section of the conversation shortly.
I've passed your details to the security office. They're reviewing the camera footage from the sculpture hall and modern art wing.
That's good to hear. Could the purse have simply fallen somewhere?
It's possible. Sometimes items slip out without notice. Our cleaning staff and attendants will also recheck the spots you visited.
Thank you. If it isn't found soon, what should I do about my credit cards and ID?
I recommend calling your bank immediately to block the cards. For the ID, if it isn't recovered today, we'll issue an official museum report. That will help when you apply for a replacement.
That's very helpful. I'll contact my bank now. Hopefully, someone has already handed it in.
Many visitors do return lost items. Please wait here while we search.
I really appreciate your patience. I was very stressed, but you've made me feel calmer.
That's my duty, madam. We'll do our best to solve this and ensure you enjoy the rest of your visit.
Why does the guide suggest contacting the bank? Why might the guide emphasize many visitors do return lost items?
You will hear a conversation followed by 5 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Good morning, Mark. I'm so glad you came today. The weather has started to change, and I was getting a little worried about how my plants will cope with the season.
Good morning, Mrs. Johnson. You're right. The shift from summer to autumn needs some careful attention. Plants feel the change too, so this is the perfect time to prepare them.
I've noticed the leaves on the rose bushes are starting to turn yellow. Is that normal, or are they unhealthy?
A bit of yellowing is natural as temperatures drop, but we also need to check if the soil has the right balance. Sometimes overwatering during cooler months can cause roots to weaken. I'll adjust the watering schedule to just twice a week for the roses.
Oh, I see. I usually water them almost every day in summer, so I thought the same was needed now.
Not at all. In cooler weather, plants need less water because evaporation is slower. Too much water can make the soil soggy and lead to fungal problems.
That makes sense. What about the marigolds near the gate? They looked so bright last month, but now they seem to be fading.
Marigolds are seasonal flowers, and they bloom best in the warmer months. As the weather cools, they start to die back. We can remove the weaker ones and prepare the soil for winter flowers like pansies and petunias.
I would love to have some color in the garden during winter. Which flowers do you recommend?
Pansies, petunias, and dianthus do well in this season. They add brightness even in colder weather. I'll also plant some chrysanthemums. They look wonderful around the porch.
That sounds beautiful. And what about the lawn? The grass looks patchy in some areas.
Yes, seasonal care is needed for lawns too. I'll trim it lightly today and add some fertilizer with extra nitrogen. This will keep the grass green and healthy. Also, raking away the fallen leaves is important so the lawn can breathe.
I never thought leaves lying around could be a problem.
They block sunlight and trap moisture, which can harm the grass underneath. It's good to keep the lawn clear.
I see. One last thing, Mark. I have those potted herbs on the kitchen windowsill, basil and mint mostly. Will they survive the colder nights?
Basil is sensitive to cold, so it might struggle. We can move the pot indoors when nights get too chilly. Mint, however, is hardier and will survive with less trouble.
Thank you for explaining all this so clearly. I feel more confident now about taking care of my plants.
My pleasure, Mrs. Johnson. Seasonal care is just about making small adjustments. If we follow these steps, your garden will stay healthy and colorful throughout.
Wonderful. I really appreciate your help, Mark. Let's go ahead and get started today.
Absolutely. I'll begin with the roses and then move on to the lawn.
What does Mark's advice about adjusting watering schedules imply about his understanding of plant physiology? By suggesting the removal of weaker marigolds, Mark reveals that what implicit leadership quality does Mark exhibit in his gardening approach? The conversation implies that successful seasonal gardening is primarily about considering all advice given. What broader life lesson does the gardening conversation suggest?
You will hear a conversation followed by 6 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Liam, can you check the list of families in Sector B? We need to ensure everyone gets food and water packets today.
Sure, Emma. I have the list here. There are about 45 families left. Should we split the team?
Yes, that would be more efficient. You take the western side, and I'll handle the eastern part near Pine Street.
Got it. Do we still have enough water bottles? The last batch we brought is almost gone.
We have 200 bottles in the van. Each family gets 4 bottles, so it should cover everyone in Sector B.
Perfect. What about blankets? Some houses were completely flooded and people might need extra warmth tonight.
There are 60 blankets in the storage box. Distribute them to the most affected families first. We can request more from the central depot if needed.
Understood. I'll prioritize families with children and elderly members. Have we checked if the medical kits are enough?
Yes, I spoke with Dr. Rachel yesterday. Each volunteer team has 1 basic medical kit for minor injuries. She'll come to Sector B later this afternoon if needed.
That's reassuring. Should we record each family that receives aid?
Absolutely. Use the forms I prepared. Include names, addresses, number of family members, and items given. This helps us track supplies and avoid duplication.
Okay. Also, some roads are blocked by fallen trees. Should we wait for clearance or reroute?
The local council is sending a team with chainsaws, but in the meantime, let's take the detour through Willow Avenue. It's longer but safer.
Sounds good. Let's start distributing then. I'll go first with the van and meet you near Oak Lane in about an hour.
Perfect, Liam. Stay safe and keep your radio on. We'll coordinate if any urgent situation arises.
Will do, Emma. Let's make sure everyone gets the help they need today.
Why might Emma have organized the supply distribution by east and west sectors? What underlying concern is Liam expressing about resources? How is prioritization of aid being determined? What can be inferred about the volunteers' coordination method? What does the discussion about blocked roads imply about planning? What can be inferred about the overall role of Emma in this operation?
You will hear a news item once. It is about 1.5 minutes long. Then 5 questions will appear. Choose the best way to complete each statement from the drop-down menu.
In a troubling development, authorities have confirmed a major oil spill along the eastern coast, leading to significant environmental damage and concerns over marine life. The incident occurred late last night when an offshore oil rig experienced a malfunction, resulting in thousands of barrels of crude oil spilling into the surrounding waters. Environmental experts have described the situation as critical due to the rapid spread of the oil across sensitive coastal ecosystems. Local authorities were alerted immediately, and emergency response teams were dispatched to contain the spill. Booms and skimmers have been deployed in an effort to prevent the oil from reaching the shoreline, but strong winds and currents have complicated the cleanup operation. Officials warn that the full impact on the environment may not be visible for several days as the oil seeps into beaches, marshes, and estuaries, threatening the livelihoods of fishermen and local communities. Marine biologists have raised alarms about the potential long-term consequences for wildlife. Birds coated in oil risk losing their ability to fly and maintain body temperature, while fish and other aquatic organisms may face mass mortality due to contaminated water. Conservation groups are calling for immediate government action to mitigate the damage and prevent similar incidents in the future. Meanwhile, the company responsible for the rig has issued a statement expressing regret and promising full cooperation with authorities. They stated that an internal investigation is underway to determine the cause of the malfunction and ensure that all safety protocols were followed. Citizens have been urged to stay away from affected beaches and to report any sightings of oil-covered wildlife. Authorities emphasize that public cooperation is essential to support the ongoing cleanup efforts and minimize further harm to the environment.
You will listen to a 2 minutes video. Then 8 questions appear. Choose the best way to answer each question.
Have you both read the reports about recent fake news scandals? I feel the media has a huge responsibility here. Misinformation spreads so quickly online, and it's affecting public trust.
I agree that misinformation is a problem, but I think we need to be careful about blaming the media entirely. Freedom of the press is crucial. Sometimes mistakes happen, but restricting news outlets could harm democracy.
That's true, Liam. But I also think media outlets need stronger fact-checking mechanisms. People rely on news sources to make informed decisions. When false stories are published, even unintentionally, they can influence elections, public health, and social harmony.
Exactly, Sophia. For example, the recent false reports about the vaccine created panic and confusion. Media companies must verify information before broadcasting it, or at least issue corrections promptly. Accountability is key.
I'm not denying that. But think about the pressure journalists face. Deadlines are tight, and in the age of social media, there's constant demand for instant updates. Expecting perfection every time is unrealistic.
I understand that, Liam. But that's why editorial policies and digital verification tools exist. Ethical journalism isn't about being perfect. It's about minimizing harm and being transparent. Media outlets should educate the public when errors occur, rather than just removing the article quietly.
And the responsibility isn't just on journalists. Readers also need media literacy. People should cross-check sources, not blindly trust headlines. But the media sets the standard. If they prioritize clicks over accuracy, it sends the wrong message.
That's fair. Maybe the solution is a balance. Media should follow stricter ethical standards, but we also need public awareness. Consumers shouldn't spread stories without verifying them.
Absolutely. Collaboration is essential. Journalists uphold accuracy, and the audience practices critical thinking. Only then can we rebuild trust after these scandals.
I hope media companies take this seriously. Fake news scandals shouldn't just be scandals, they should be lessons for lasting change.
Agreed. Responsible journalism benefits everyone, but it's a shared responsibility between the press and the public.
Definitely. Media accountability and public awareness together can reduce the impact of fake news significantly.
You will hear a report once. It is about 3 minutes long. Then 6 questions will appear. Choose the best way to answer each question from the drop-down menu.
In recent years, the demand for in vitro fertilization, IVF treatments, has grown significantly worldwide. IVF, a method of assisted reproductive technology, allows couples facing infertility to conceive by combining eggs and sperm outside the human body and implanting the resulting embryo in the uterus. The increasing popularity of IVF reflects not only advancements in medical science, but also changing social attitudes toward family planning, parenthood, and reproductive health. One of the primary reasons for the rising demand is delayed parenthood. Many individuals and couples now prioritize education, career growth, and financial stability before starting a family. As fertility naturally declines with age, IVF has become a crucial option for older couples hoping to conceive. Additionally, infertility affects millions globally, with estimates suggesting that 1 in 6 couples struggles to conceive. For them, IVF offers hope and the possibility of experiencing biological parenthood. Moreover, IVF is no longer limited to heterosexual couples facing infertility. Single individuals and same-sex couples increasingly use IVF to build families, often combining it with egg or sperm donation, surrogacy, or genetic screening. This trend underscores the changing nature of families and society's broader acceptance of diverse family structures. IVF empowers individuals to exercise reproductive choice, reinforcing the idea that parenthood is not restricted to traditional circumstances. However, the growing demand for IVF also raises social, ethical, and financial concerns. IVF treatments are often expensive and not accessible to everyone, potentially widening inequalities in reproductive health care. Ethically, questions about embryo selection, genetic screening, and the fate of unused embryos spark debates among scientists, policymakers, and religious groups. There's also the emotional and physical toll on those undergoing repeated IVF cycles, as treatment can be stressful and sometimes unsuccessful, causing psychological distress. Despite these challenges, IVF represents a remarkable achievement in medical science and personal choice. Policymakers and healthcare providers are increasingly emphasizing the importance of making IVF more accessible, affordable, and safe, alongside providing counseling to support the emotional well-being of patients. Public discussions about IVF can help reduce stigma, foster informed decision-making, and highlight reproductive health as a shared societal concern rather than a private struggle.
Visit celpipmocktest.com for authentic Celpip mock tests and see the difference in your performance.